And for me, the United States is a settler colonial state, there's no doubt about it, historically, materially, etc. And the same with Canada, the same with Israel, and there's a number of other excellent examples, of course. What I refer to as the technico-democratic mission is the way in which, and I think you can date this relatively precisely, because it doesn't begin emerging in the United States, if we just take that example, until about the 1830s, 1840s, when democracy becomes something that is going to be valorized. And it was a PR campaign by Andrew Jackson, who basically wanted to appeal to the popular masses, and so he started calling what he was doing democracy because of the connotation of the term. And that terminologically, that became a kind of rallying point for redefining a settler colonial state with a different window display. The different window display is, well, we're not a bunch of old patrician republicans, which they were oligarchs, they were all oligarchs from Europe. But instead, we're going to call ourselves Democrats, and Democrats not in the party sense of the term, but in purveyor of democracy, and that this went hand in hand with the kind of mission of then spreading that democracy elsewhere. So I don't see a tension between a settler colonial state and what I refer to as the technico-democratic mission, but instead it's a way of a settler colonial state trying to mask its origins, its colonial status, and then also this kind of political and historical imaginary, you see its seeds in the mid-19th century, but then it really takes off in the 20th century, right? The First World War is the war that's fought to defend democracy, and then as of World War II, you have the United States like bombing 30 countries in order to bring democracy to them. So I don't think that there's any actual reality to this. On the contrary, democracy operates, Auguste Blanqui has a great statement in the 19th century where he says that democracy is a rubbery concept. C'est un mot en caoutchouc, or a rubbery word. Everybody today wants to be a Democrat or a supporter of democracy, first and foremost the aristocrats. And I think that Blanqui kind of understood everything at the end of the 19th century.
And the US state has mobilized democracy in its anti-communist politics. And yeah.
Which is not to say, maybe a final thing, because I think what you're inviting, because I couldn't agree more, that we really need to keep the stratified sensibilities of how different processes operate in different places in the world. And so in certain instances, it is helpful to prop up a pseudo-democracy in a client state for the imperial powers. At other times, that becomes too risky. You orchestrate a coup d'etat and you establish a dictatorship. And the democracy stuff goes out the window until you kind of shore up power again, and then you might bring it back in various ways. And so I don't think that it's across the board. There are certain people who deserve dictatorships, according to the kind of dominant political imaginary of the imperial power.